development of an idea through the use of materials and processes. Okay, so when the student begins their course, they really need to develop a good inquiry or question. So they can take their their previous concentration statement, but it needs to be formed in the way of a question and a series of questions. And when as they're working, the development could be the higher end students need to show experimentation and revision. And the experimentation and revision needs to also be reflected in their writing. So there is a close tie between the image and the writing, and and it will be scored accordingly to that as well. So so if you got 15 images, you want the students to incorporate images from their sketchbook, images of if there is a sense of development, transition from one, the movement of the idea from one form to the next, which will then help the reader to see that there is a sense of development. And the idea, the higher level students are going to show a sense of synthesis, which synthesis is the culmination of ideas, materials, and processes, and you can see all of that in one. Let me give you a good example. I did some writing for portfolios, and there was a student that did a series of paintings based on her relationship with God and nature. So you had her first initial experimentations and drawings were her going out into nature and drawing and painting what she saw. Then as she was developing the idea, she then decided that she would make her own pigments using the water from the lake. She used stones that she crushed, rocks, dirt, soil, and she created her own charcoal by burning the wood from the same area.
Let's just try putting
and so she took all that, which becomes the material. She actually made her own materials. And then she, as it developed, she did these giant drawings that she even created her own tools, her own paintbrushes, and everything from the area that she was working from. So that creates a good sense of synthesis. And the work was phenomenal. Okay, so that's the integration of materials, which she made, the processes, which obviously she's working good studio practices, working out through observation, working in studio, and then the idea, which is God and nature and how that relates to her. So that was a really phenomenal portfolio, and I think you guys should have access to that because those were teaching materials, and I think that's going to be on the website at some point if it's not there already.
I think they said it was coming out in early August, but I haven't seen it yet.
We weren't able to go to a workshop this summer, so that's why we are contacting you, because we haven't really gotten anything other than that notebook that was sent to us.
Right, and there's a lot in there. Is that the core the core objectives?
I think so.
Yeah, it was like main ideas and what it kind of gave you an idea about what the rubrics were going to be like and some.
Yeah, I tell you, and not all of that will be assessed. So, because on there is also the idea of exhibition, exhibiting your work, things like that. Obviously, that can't be assessed. So you're looking at just portions of that will be assessed. I would be happy to, if you'll send me an email, or I can send you the rubric that we actually go off of for scoring, and send you, if I still have access to it, I could send you some screenshots of some student work because there was about a dozen, maybe a dozen and a half pilot schools that actually did a pilot run of this rubric so that we could learn if it was going to work or not. And so we scored, these students and then categorized them within the scoring system. So, and I'd be happy to send you some of that information.
Yeah, I'd love some of that. That would be fantastic.
Great.
Yeah.
I have a question about the guiding question. Is that just the one question for the entire portfolio? They don't need it for each piece, correct?
So for sustained investigation,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be for the entire portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
And should it be one question, or can it be like 2 or 3?
It could be a multiple. Yeah, I think you've got 1,100 characters, so it could be a series of questions, and then how you dealt with those questions. So it could be 1, it could be 2. It could be questions that kind of pop up as you're working.
Okay.
Which is perfectly understandable how that would be. So.
All right. My kids are formulating those inquiries now already.
Right.
And then figuring out how they're going to then address them. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So in the selected works, that most of that will be probably from their portfolio that they submitted, sustained investigation, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. And they're limited to 100 characters for the description of the idea, 100 characters for the materials, and 100 characters for the processes. And really, if there's an idea there and it links to because when the reader reads it, they have to read it very quickly. So if the idea is present, they'll get full credit for the writing. If obviously if the materials are evident and the process, painting with drawing, obviously that's going to be there too. So that's not it's not weight. The writing is not weighed as heavily in the selected works.
All right, great. That's good to know. And then they're not being counted at all on spelling and grammar and stuff like that. We were told
Absolutely
they could use
not.
like the number 4 for the word 4, stuff like that. Even.
Absolutely. Nah, it's not going to be graded against them at all.
Okay.
In fact, we had a legitimate question of students that are English as a second language. We're looking into submitting, using actually like Google Translate, so students could actually use their native language to do the writing.
Oh, okay.
That's great.
Yeah.
So they can use like Twitter language, basically.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That answers a lot of questions that my kids had.
Yeah.
I
Go ahead,
had
sorry.
another question about if they're doing photography.
Right.
What's that going to look like?
I mean, okay, so what do you mean by what is it going to look like?
I mean, I can figure it out with drawing, but I'm not so much into photography, and I've not really had this many photography students before, and I have like 3 of them this year.
Right.
And I'm not sure how to,
Well, how to show that growth and that document their experimentation and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Could they create their own,
Yeah.
camera and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think the ones that score higher, there's some type of manipulation of of the material. So if it's some experimentation on how they use the camera or after
How they develop the film or something.
Yeah, how they're manipulating the paper, if there's anything added to it, or how they use their model. We had a super portfolio that was submitted she actually submitted in 3D, but we decided to put it in the 2D portfolio because it was just so super. She did projections on statues. So it started out as, I can't remember the idea. So she did these projections on statues, and then she started draping the statue with cloth, and then integrating figure into these. And by the end, through this experimentation, you couldn't discern what was statue, cloth, and figure. they were absolutely amazing.
Wow.
And and those were all photos, and they were really beautiful. Yeah, and it could be, give them some ideas of doing installation and drawing and photographing an installation, using that. I can't remember who the artist is that did the green cats in the room, and the nuclear cats and things like that. So I'm always drawn to things where the student really you can see the amount of work that they put into the subject, and creating a space that is also, it's very unique and different.
Let's
So.
see. At the door. Okay. I think I have a better idea of what you're looking for from them then.
Me too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if it's beyond, moving beyond, I went to the beach and I took a bunch of pictures of patterns and things like that. Really kind of push them away from that as much as possible. Unless it's just superior work. But generally, we don't see that as much of an exploration of a true idea, But if they're really thinking like an artist, and that's really what this is about, is pushing them to think like how an artist thinks. The idea of using, the idea is the springboard for how they use their materials and how they're using, how they're processing those materials, and that's what we're trying to push them to do.
Gotcha.
I have a way better idea of what you're talking about now. All right.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I'd be happy to send you some examples.
That would be really fantastic. I'll shoot you an email.
Absolutely. Yep.
Greg, thank you so much for your time.
You bet.
Yeah, I appreciate it too, Greg.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll be talking to you. Thanks a lot.
You bet.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Liz?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that helped like a humongous amount.
He's brilliant, isn't he?
It helped even more than what she sent us yesterday.
Uh-huh.
It helped so much, especially the examples he gave.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.